Like, what's made you believe that you're not good enough? Why are you like telling yourself that story? And you're telling yourself it so much that you feel like you can't change it, or that it's totally true when it's not a fact. It's merely a thought. Okay, let's get a little bit cozy today. Welcome back to the channel. I am Orooj. If you're new here, I basically post videos about interesting thoughts that I have, but also vlogs and just my life in general. But today the topic is going to be just talking about this idea that your perception is your reality. And I don't know how you guys might feel about that phrase, because like obviously whatever is happening around me is my reality, you know? But I want to get a little bit deeper, because the idea of like your perception, like whatever you believe to be true is actually what is real. Even though it might not be real, to you it's real. And it's whatever, like whatever you choose to focus on is your reality. And I feel like we give a lot of our attention to our thoughts. But that's why they say like your thoughts become your reality. Because I read this somewhere where it's like your thoughts become your actions become your habits become your life, basically. And it's funny to think that something so major can start from something so small, but whatever you think to be true is actually true. Because whatever you focus on, whatever you give your energy to, whatever you give your time to is what's real. I don't know if you guys can hear, my sister and her friend are watching the last game for the Stanley Cup right now, so they are shouting. They are shouting. The TV, the family room is right downstairs, so you can literally hear them like screaming. Okay, I don't know why I chose to film this right now while they were doing that. Have you ever thought about like how you notice something and you're like walking around but no one else noticed, it was just you? But I think it comes down to like we think a lot about ourselves. We think a lot about ourselves and we think people care. People don't care. People really don't care. I feel like society makes it seem like you're so important, in the sense that you're focusing way too much on yourself. Like every tiny little thing you do, it's not that deep. It shouldn't be that serious. And we make things that should be easy so hard for ourselves. Like we create our own problems, but it's not meant to be that way. It's also kind of like, you know, what you consume. What you are is what you consume. And what you focus on and what you feed yourself with, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like let's say like you watch Netflix shows all the freaking time. What you're going to be thinking about and consuming is literally going to be what you see. And that's because the more you see something, the more you believe it. And even if you don't think you believe it, deep down you're believing it. Deep down, that's what your mind is starting to focus on. And that's why I say it's like very important to be mindful of what you're intaking, what you're feeding yourself, what you're focusing on. And it can even come down to your thoughts, because those things aren't even external. Those things come internally. Giving yourself good thoughts is very, 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 very important. And focusing on the right things. We give so much of our time or energy to things, to thoughts, to people who they don't matter to, or it takes so much away from yourself. Like when I was reading a chapter from this book, actually, chapter 17 of this book by Jen. It's called You Are a Badass, and it's a really good book. Chapter 17 was basically talking about what you perceive to be true is your reality. Reality is merely an illusion. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. And that's by Albert Einstein. Smart guy. Anyways, what you choose to focus on becomes your reality. And it literally comes down to these things. You over here, we're so deeply wrapped up in our stories, saying, I don't have the money, I'm not good enough, I can't quit my job, I'm lazy, I have bad hair. Like it's like things that you literally focus on so much that a lot of the time are holding you back, or it doesn't even matter. Like Like, a lot of these things are really just in your head. You gotta get out of your head a little bit. We focus so much on things that are not even real. And when you let loose a little bit, you start to have fun. You start to relax, you start to enjoy, and life starts to flow much, much, much better. And that's why I say it's important to keep busy. I feel like in our society and our generation, like, we spend so much time online that we kind of just like forget to like let loose and live our lives. We're so like, it feels like we're like letting go and living our lives and chilling when we're scrolling. But I always try to think of it from like a third-party perspective. You're literally sitting there scrolling on a block. Just scrolling. Like, it looks like, if someone saw you from an outsider perspective, it looks so weird. You're just like staring at something and like getting so entertained by it. It's taking your mind off of things. But at the same time, you're not really letting go. You're not really relaxing. And your mind is still working so hard. Your mind's still like, your body physically is just chilling, but your mind is actually still like going through so much. But sometimes we take life so seriously that we don't try to relax, enjoy, and keep yourself busy in the sense that you're like outside experiencing like life for what it is, and that you're out of your thoughts. You're kind of just like living in the moment. Some people do great at living in the moment, and honestly I've gotten so much better at living in the moment, but I used to be the person who would just like be stuck in my head and daydream all the time. Daydreaming about good things makes me feel good, but thinking about things that don't make me feel so good is a waste of energy, a waste of time. Because even down to thoughts like thinking like you're not good enough. Like, what's made you believe that you're not good enough? Why are you like telling yourself that story? And you're telling yourself it so much that you feel like you can't change it, or that it's totally true when it's not a fact. It's merely a thought. Our entire experience on this planet is determined by how we choose to perceive our reality. That also brings up like the point of like bias. Like, for example, like you'll be talking to someone who's elder and they'll be sharing about how they went through life. Their perception of their life and their reality is so much more different because everybody goes through different things, but that's also because they choose to focus on different things. And whenever they might be giving you advice, you'd be taking some of it, but at the same time you wouldn't take it fully because what they chose to focus on was what became their reality, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be everybody's reality or somebody else's reality. And it's also kind of like the thing, like, you'll be thinking like your hair looks really bad, for example, right? And you're walking around and you think, oh my god, people are like, look at my hair right now. Oh, it looks so bad, blah, 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 blah. But no one's looking at that. No one cares. No one's thinking about you that much. Everybody is thinking about themselves. Like, the amount of time you spend thinking about yourselves, the amount of energy we give focusing on ourselves, no one else cares. No one else cares, okay? And it's the same thing with like just becoming aware of like, there's external stories that people tell you about yourself, and then there's internal stories that you have about yourself too. Sometimes the external ones impact your internal stories that you tell about yourself. But sometimes you even tell yourself dumb stories when you shouldn't be telling yourself those stuff. So her things, or her steps that she wrote in her chapter, in this chapter, were 1, become aware of what your stories are. So listen to when you say stuff like, I always blah blah blah, I never blah blah blah, I can't, I should, I suck at this, I wish, I want, I don't have, one day, I'm trying to. Like, these are really bad ways to start sentences, by the way. They're all negative. But here, let's read something. This is kind of funny. She's actually really funny. So she writes, lonely-hearted Sally always says that she can't find a good single man because there aren't any left out there. Really, Sally? All the good single men were hunted down and killed, so no matter how many dates you go on or how many times you put on your heels and hang around at Home Depot, you'll never bump into one. I don't know why people would be bumping into one at Home Depot. I mean, unless that's the kind of man you're looking for. Or like here, Broke Joe, the personal trainer, always talks about how he can't make any money and how there are no high-paying clients out there. Really, Joe? Not any? Anywhere? then how is it that other personal trainers have more high-paying clients that they can handle, and that some even created energy drinks and workout products with the pictures on them and ranking it on QVC? And then she writes over here, if you're constantly angry, maybe your story is nobody understands me. If you're always overweight, maybe your story is I have no self-discipline. If you're uninvited from dinner because you wouldn't let anyone else talk at the last 3 family gatherings, maybe your story is nobody pays attention to me. Become aware of those stories that you're telling yourself and what you're gaining from telling these stories to yourself. Does it make you feel better to give an excuse? I sound kind of harsh right now, but I'm trying to be real with you. Does it make you feel better that you have a reason as to why you can't do something or why you are the way you are and that you can't change? Like, we tell ourselves we want to be a certain way or we want to do certain things, but we're not at that point for it. Let's say you want to be that girl who's like always put together and, you know, looks good, takes care of herself or whatever, but you're always like sitting at home in like dusty, musty, crusty PJs. You could be wearing cute PJs and that would still count as being like, you know, well put together. But maybe you're just like sitting in those pants that you've been having for like 10 years now. Okay, maybe that's a little too long. I don't know. Maybe that's a little too long. But wearing like, if you want your hair to always look good but you don't even take care of it, you don't wash it, is it just magically gonna get better? Like, or if you want to be that girl that literally, again, takes care of herself, but you don't do your skincare, or you don't brush your teeth properly or floss every night, you're not gonna just magically be that person who has it all if you don't even like try to set yourself up a little bit for it or build the habits for it, right? So you perceive yourself to be the type of person that cannot attain it, but you haven't even tried. You haven't even tried to change the way you think or change the way you see something and do something differently. Again, if you want to be that type of person who works out, goes to the gym, takes care of her body, just putting it on, like, just telling yourself that isn't gonna make you be that person. You have to kind of think, what would that person who is like that do? What would their habits be? What would their lifestyle be? What would their thoughts be? What would their mindset be? And then you gotta be that. But the problem is that we think it's so unattainable or it's like so far away because we're just not like that right now. But it doesn't mean you can't be like that at all. You can't ever be like that. And that's why they say, like, again, your perception is your reality. What you believe is true about yourself, what you believe is true about others is literally what is real. This comes down to even thinking like how other people are judging you, for example. Like, if you think that they're judging you, if you think that they're looking at you a certain way about something specific, you will believe that, but it's not necessarily true. It could even be like, you know, oh, that person looked at me weird. Sometimes they didn't even look at you weird, okay? Like, okay, let me give you an example, actually, a personal example. This is kind of a stupid example, but I went with my family for breakfast one time on a Sunday morning or whatever. You know those breakfast places that you go to? I went to that place and the waitress came over and she was basically taking her order. So in my mind, I'm sitting like sideways, right? So I'm like, I wanted to just basically smile at her and acknowledge that she was there taking her order. So I'm like smiling and then I turn my head back. And I think she thinks that she says this, okay. She says, "Don't roll your eyes at me, young lady." And then I was like, because I didn't know what to say in the moment. I was like, and then she's like, "Yeah, I saw that." She thought I rolled my eyes at her when I was trying to give her a smile. Do you see how someone's perception of something is so totally different? I didn't correct her in the moment because everything happened so fast. And I was like, what was I going to explain to her? I was just trying to smile at you and I didn't roll my eyes. She probably wouldn't have believed me if I just said that, because the way I did it was I literally looked at her and when I blinked, my eyes kind of go up. That's how you normally blink. You know, when you blink, your eyes literally roll up. She thought I was rolling my eyes at her. Again, your perception is your reality. I was smiling. I did not roll my eyes at her, but she thought I did. So it can be the same thing, like you're walking down, you think someone looks at you weird, It's not that deep. They were not thinking of you like that, most likely. If they were, you'd probably actually notice. And who cares too? They're a random person on the street. It doesn't matter. But when it comes to your deep thoughts and things that you believe about yourself, those things are important to tackle and to figure out the root cause and fix, because that stuff doesn't change. That stuff you work with on a daily basis, you know? Now, she wrote over here, get rid of your stories. Okay, she wrote over here, we don't realize it, but we're making the perks we get from perpetuating our stories more important than getting the things we really want, because it's familiar. It's what we're comfy with, and we're scared to let it go. If we've been depressed or victimized or whatever since childhood, if we've been depressed, I cannot speak. If we've been depressed or victimized or whatever since childhood, we trick ourselves into believing that it's really who we are as adults in order to continue reaping the rewards. It's how we survived as kids, but it doesn't serve us anymore, so we need to get rid of it, or we'll just keep creating more of it. So it's just basically creating beliefs that you identify with. Sometimes you go through things and they make you believe things about you that are not inherently true. And you think they are true just because of one way that someone responded to it, or one thing that someone said or someone saw. It's not necessarily true or right. You know yourself best. And again, you can change your beliefs about yourself too. And it comes out, the more you believe something, the more it starts to show outside as well. And that's why I say like things like confidence, like when you're truly happy within yourself and when you're actually feeling good about yourself, that's when you have true confidence, because it shows. People feel that energy around you, it shows. And when you're feeling insecure, people feel that too. And the more you try to like kind of forcefully do it and make it harder for yourself and not make it easy, it just gives out that desperado, that desperation, that desperate energy, and that is not what we want. So she writes over here, get rid of your stories. Once you know what the beast looks like, you can slay it. Take your list of can'ts and shoulds and I nevers and write stream of consciousness in a journal, and really feel in your body what you're getting from these old limiting beliefs. That's what they are, limiting beliefs. Such as, I feel special, I feel safe, I get to live with my parents and never get a job. This is... I'm not gonna lie, some of the things that she says literally do pick at you, because it makes you realize like just the tiniest things. Like, I know everybody has problems. Don't focus too much on those problems, because the problems become your life. It's like the same thing, like when you're focusing on someone's drama so much that the drama just becomes your life, when it shouldn't. It should not. That's because you're giving so much of your energy and so much of your focus to it. That's why I always like, I hate drama. I really hate drama. Like when it's stupid drama, like especially like with reality TV, like okay, I'll watch it. Like that once in a while, you know? But I don't like having drama in my real life. I don't like having, like, obviously conflicts are gonna arise, and when you're able to deal with them properly, that's great. But I do not like gossiping with other people about certain things, and I don't like drama just because like it stirs up so much chaos in your life, and that's what it becomes, because again, you're giving your energy, you're giving your focus to it. Especially like, why are you caring so much about like other people's lives when you should be focusing on your life and making it better? But yeah, again, not focusing so much that we think so much about ourselves and care so much about ourselves that we don't realize there's like a whole world outside of us. Okay, now getting rid of the stories, I feel like is like the hard part. Like sometimes you think, okay, now I know better and I'll definitely change. But then something happens and you catch yourself saying the same things to yourself. That's the point where you need to kind of like stop and like don't repeat that limiting belief to yourself and replace it with something else. And if you're not gonna replace it, at least don't tell yourself those old stories anymore. But here, yeah, it's better to replace it. Replace the feelings you got from the false rewards with the feelings of joy and power and excitement that stepping into who you truly are and who you're now becoming will bring. That was a lot of words, but basically, again, if you want to be the person that is like fun to be around, inviting, welcoming, joyful, but you're not that kind of person, you're just thinking about how much you're not that type of person, you're not going to be that type of person. It's that simple. I don't know how much more I'm going to have to explain that, even to myself. You're not going to just change if you don't believe you're going to change. And that's why oh my god, this brings up this topic of like, I hate it. I really hate it when people say that they're going to stop something, but they do it because someone else is holding them accountable. Sometimes it works, but a lot of the time change doesn't happen unless you want that change within yourself. Someone can be telling you that you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and you're like, yeah, I know I should be doing this, I know I should be doing that. But you're not going to actually change unless you want to change. Like, I have examples, like, I wanted to be more outgoing, but I really wasn't that type of person. Again, limiting belief. But I just, like, people would tell me, you should go out more if you want to be that type of person who enjoys life and does things and has adventures. You gotta go out. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I should. I blah, 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 it'll be better for me. But, like, until I hit, like, a point where I'm like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. I have to get out. I have to do things. I have to take charge. Nothing's gonna change. And that's why I think for me, the pandemic was such a turning point in my life. Because when I was forced to stay inside, I don't know why I still have this book. Okay, when I was forced to sit inside and do absolutely nothing, and actually I wasn't given the option to choose to stay inside, something changed, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get up and I gotta do what I want to do because I need that change. And then I made that change, and it was that simple because I chose to just identify or choose that to be my reality, basically. And here's another thing too. Okay, I am congratulating myself because I just got my first ever gym membership. I would go with my sister and my brother to the gym, and I had this need to go to the gym and change and be that type of person who actually, you know, takes care of their physical as well as their mental health. But I never took the step to do it myself. I was just kind of joining in on. And that, again, holds you accountable for a little bit, but you're not taking it as seriously as you should. Or if you want to be that type of person, you gotta be that type of person. You gotta, like, go all in with it. Or even like how I slowly went with it. But I reached a point where I'm like, okay, I actually want to start taking it seriously. I'm gonna go all in, get my own membership, do it on my own terms, my own time, and give it my all in that sense. And again, this, like, maybe, who knows, I might be a little bit lazy with it just because I hope I'm not lazy with it. But again, if it's important enough to you, or if you care enough, you'll change it. You'll identify with being that person who goes to the gym and does that stuff, okay? It's a lifestyle thing. Like, when I got my braces is another example. When I got my braces, I used to have some wonky looking teeth when I was a kid, but now I got these straight, nice, beautiful teeth, thank God. I took such good care of my teeth, you will not believe. That was so important to me because I would not smile as a kid, or at least not with my teeth, because I didn't like my teeth. Once I got my braces on, I gave it my all, cleaned my teeth, took care of them, and I still to this day take care of them. I do not miss a single night. I always floss, no matter what. I brush twice a day, that's normal, but I always floss as well. I take care of my teeth, okay? Because it's important to me, and I identify with being that type of person who has good teeth and takes care of them. And it's, again, your choices, what you find is important to you, what you focus on, what you give your energy to. It's that simple. Now, I could have just been like, I'm just the type of person that doesn't have good teeth, or I'm the type of person that doesn't have, you know, nice, healthy teeth, gums, whatever. But I chose not to. That was not me. I'm the type of person that takes care of her teeth. I'm going on a rant about my teeth. I hope this is proof that I actually do take care of my teeth. But But even with like, okay, my nails is another thing. I'm talking a lot about my physical because that's certain things that I just can think of right now, but also like certain things people point out. When I was younger, I'm like exposing myself on the internet. When I was younger, I used to have a nail biting problem, I'd say. It was really tiny, not even that much, but I used to bite my nails so they would be really short. And I tried my best to like stop, but I really couldn't, okay? I had a bad habit of doing that. And people would try to scare you from doing it, but you know, sometimes you still do it just because you want it to. I went to this birthday party when I was younger, and this auntie or whatever, she basically pointed out, no, let me backtrack a little bit. We were painting our nails, okay? I went to a party and I was getting my nails painted, and there was this auntie that basically kind of just mentioned it. She's like, wow, your nails are so short, you probably can't even put nail polish on them properly. And that remark literally hit me as a tiny little kid. I was like, what the hell? What is wrong with my nails? Like, it just made me feel even more insecure about having bad nails because I used to bite them so much. I took it upon myself to change. That was more of an external change, I guess, like because someone else mentioned it to me, but I also wanted to take care of my nails as well. Now my nails are literally so good and they're so nice and I take care of them so well that I didn't let a tiny little belief stop me from being that person that could have something. I'm taking something so small like freaking fingernails to something so big, but the idea is the same. The idea is literally the same. And it also kind of makes me think about like how we tell our younger selves, how we look back to like our younger selves and wish we could have told ourselves differently, to look at life differently. But we focused on different things back then, which is why we were the way that we were. Our life was the way that it looked like, or what we thought it was, is because we chose to focus on those certain things, right? Now let's go back to what Jen wrote in this book. For example, let's say that lonely-hearted Sally finally got fed up enough to get mighty real with herself and face her issues around relationships. She started by getting clear on what her stories are. I can't meet a man because there aren't any good ones left. I suck at flirting. I never know what to say to men. I'm not attracted to men, not the good ones anyway. I scare men away. I don't trust men. I don't believe that there really is anyone out there for me. That's a whole lot. That's like a truckload of limiting beliefs. Like, oh my god. That's actually like, it goes very deep. Like, I'm reading it like in a joking manner, but that's actually like some really bad beliefs to have about yourself, especially for things that you want. Now that she got this list, she can basically figure out, okay, what her issues are and how she can change the way she thinks about something. By saying there aren't any good men out there, I don't have to take responsibility for why I'm not meeting any. I get to feel victimized and right for staying single. I get to prove how pitiful men are by not being with a good one. My pain of feeling unworthy and my mistrust of men get proven right when I stay single. I feel like I know what I'm doing and in control by not letting anyone get close to me. I feel free, I feel safe, I feel special because I get attention for breaking the rules. That's like actually digging deep why you have those beliefs and what rewards you're giving yourself and what excuses you're giving yourself and what they make you feel. I'm so sorry for the noise that's coming out right now because they are enjoying themselves as they are, but they're really loud in my room's right on top of the TV room, the family room. I cannot control that. So she says to basically replace it by saying that there aren't any good men out there. I don't have to take responsibility for why I'm not meeting any. And that becomes, the world is filled with awesome, loving men I am fully capable of and so excited to find me a good one. So it's literally just rephrasing and changing those thoughts. Because again, if you believe that you're not going to get something, you're not going to get it. You're not allowing yourself to even have the chance to get it because you just simply think you can't. And it comes down with, like, for example, making more money. If you don't believe you can make more money, you're not going to make more money. It's that simple. And it's kind of like a thing where you're like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to. I really want to though. Do you really want to if you're not changing the way you're speaking to yourself or your beliefs? Do you really want to? Do you really want to? We say we want things, but do you really want it if you're not going to change? And now I know the example that I'm using is relationships, but I think like everybody can kind of relate or understand something from this. And it's because she's talking about it, so like I have no other example to give. I could have made my own example, but I don't have anything on the top of my head right now. But yeah, again, review. Let's do a little bit of a review. Basically paraphrasing that whole chapter, but also like giving my insights. 1, list off your old stories that you've gotten into the habit of thinking and saying. 2, journal about the journal about the false rewards you get from them. 3, feel into these false rewards, thank them for their help, and then decide to let them go. 4, take each false reward and write a new powerful story to replace it with. 5, repeat this new story, as I say, affirmations basically, over and over until it becomes your truth, because you're trying to focus on that instead. And number 6, behold your awesome new life. Basically, you gotta take action, and take action in the sense of just think better so that you act better, so that your life is better. But yeah, get out of your routine. That's another thing. If you want to be the type of person that goes to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, you're going to have to sacrifice something. You're not going to be sleeping at 2 a.m. anymore and then, you know, magically wake up and be that person that goes to the gym and has all that energy. You're not going to be that type of person. If you want to be the type of person that wakes up 5 a.m., goes to the gym, you're going to want to sleep earlier, because you know sleep is important for you to get a good workout and to actually wake up at that time, you know? We have to give up a lot of our bad habits and a lot of things that we're comfortable doing just to achieve a newer life, new habits. There's a lot of sacrifice that comes with new things, but ultimately those new habits that you know that you need and want are good for you. So make the change because you want to make the change and you know that you want to make that change. And yeah, going out into the world and trying, yet still deep down believing that you're ruled by your past circumstances is like forgiving someone, but still hoping they sit in something wet. Oh God. And again, life is hard. Life isn't going to be easy. You're going to try to push yourself and actually do these things, but you'll probably have some pushbacks as well and like contemplate, what am I doing? Is this actually working? I could just easily fall back to my old ways again. But it all comes down to like, again, your reasoning for things behind something. And if you want it bad enough, if you want to change bad enough, if you want to focus on good things and have good thoughts and create a good reality for yourself. Let's read this whole section. Sidestep the spiral. There's also the ever popular spiral into darkness where you begin to blah, 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 blah. I cannot read. I actually cannot read. There's also the ever popular spiral into darkness where you begin by being sad that your dog died. Then realize that not only are you now dogless, but you're still single, and you'll always be single because everyone, including your dog, leaves you, which probably wouldn't be the case if you didn't have such fat thighs or weren't so overshadowed by your gorgeous sister, who was pretty much the main reason you have no self-confidence your entire life. And wow. Damn, this can like keep going. She gets deep about these things. Like she's bringing it up like they're tiny things, but like people have insecurities. And there's such tiny things, but they're so big in our minds. Feel sad, but don't blow it up into some huge drama. If something negative happens in your life, feel it. Don't forget to feel it. Learn from it. Let it go and get back to focusing on the life that you're excited to live. Again, it seems so simple. And sometimes it's because it is simple. We make things so hard for ourselves. We make life so hard for ourselves. Sometimes you gotta just shut up those stupid thoughts and live in your reality, okay? If you feel like there's something that's triggering you or making you feel those thoughts again, remove yourself from those situations or try to change the way you think about it. This whole like limiting belief stuff, like I didn't actually even like care to think about it before, but it's actually so important. Like there's stories that we tell ourselves so much that they're our reality, that they're true now, because I didn't even realize like something that was stopping me from getting somewhere I wanted to be in life was because of it was the way I was thinking. And it was something so internally grained in me that it was stopping me. And I was stopping myself, and I didn't realize that. A lot of the things, again, like I say change comes from within, because literally you can be your own worst enemy. You are the only thing that's really stopping you from things. We like to like give excuses and say, oh, I can't do it because this person told me I can't do it, or this circumstance is happening so I can't do it. If you want it bad enough, if you want to take responsibility for your life you will do it, okay? If you want to take responsibility for your life, you will do it. You will change. If you, like, for example, if you like somebody enough, you will want to be with them and you'll want to make it work. If you want to have that body that you've been dreaming of, you will literally put in the work. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to be 100% productive and get all their goals and do whatever they want and be whatever they want. But you just got to remind yourself, do you want it bad enough? Like, is it that important to you that you'll change the way you think about it? Ooh, did someone try to squirt? I don't know. That you'll change the way you think about it and you'll actually do something about it, you know? That was like a big, like, I just got all my thoughts out, and I feel like I feel like I sound so smart, but it's things I just realized myself too. Just the stories you tell yourself, basically, okay? Focus on those things in the sense that you want to change them, and focus on good stories. You want to tell yourself good stories. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this video. And I hope you take away that you have control over your life. You have control over what you choose to focus on. And you basically create your life. Your thoughts create your reality, okay? Okay, if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below because I'd like to know what you are thinking. And I will catch you guys in the next one then, okay?